Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So this is Tom, and I have a feisty kitty here today. She's being a little camera shy, and this is the one that's actually noisy. Want to say hi to everybody? Want to say hi? Want to say hi? All right, there you go. She said hi. I'm sure she wants to go now, so I will let this kitty go, and let's see what happens there. All right. So we're going to have a quick look here, and this is going to be a short video because, well, first I'm recording this on an external thumb drive, which only has 32 gigabytes, and so I can't record too long of a video lest I run out of room. And the second major thing is I'm in the middle of also making ice cream, and I'm going to have to stop and start in about 20-25 minutes. So we're going to go quick. What we're going to do here today is we are going to have a quick look at Solus. Now, I could not get Solus to run inside of a virtual box. I've seen some people have. Mine, it just kind of gets to the loading screen, and then as soon as it gets logged in there, it goes ahead and restarts itself and all sorts of things. I could not get anything working on it. So the Solus project is one of the Linux distros that a few people out there have said this is one to keep an eye on. It is certainly an interesting distro in that it is not based on any of the other distros. So, many of them out there were basing them off of Ubuntu or, or Debian or something else. Well, this one is actually based on its own. And the advantage is, of course, is one of the biggest problems with an Ubuntu-based platform, for example, is there's so much stuff in the software repository for Ubuntu anymore. It's like it's been accumulating stuff a long time. If you can envision what your cabinets might look like. And your cabinets might be completely full of stuff that you haven't touched in, 10 years. And that's sometimes like the software repositories on Ubuntu. So there might be, if you look up a software package, there might be 15 software packages to do something, but 14 of them don't actually work or are old and haven't been updated in a long time. And so the refreshing part with something like Solus is it's such a new project and it's based upon only itself that you don't have any software in there that is kind of goofy. Now, the downside is it becomes quite a bit harder to get stuff working on it unless you want to compile things on your own. So usually in a case like this, I would have probably tried to get something like Simple Screen Recorder working. But in this case, OBS was actually in the software repository. And since I use OBS a lot anyway, I figured, hey, let's just go ahead and put OBS on here, and I can plug all my peripherals right into the computer and record this. So we're recording right onto the drive. Now, I cut the data back to about 50% what I usually do in the hopes that we'll get a little bit better quality video out of this, or a little bit smaller quality video out of it. Still get quality video, not quite as large of a file, so that hopefully we will not run out of any issues here. So the Solus project you can get at solusproject.com, and I actually just went right to the blog page. But if you go right here, one of the things, it says here stable and secure. Like I said, I had some instability issues running it on a virtual box, so we're running this on real hardware on an external USB port. And it does seem to work okay. I've tinkered with this just a little bit. You can download the package over here, and so you can pick where you're downloading it from. There's torrents or there's various files. You have your checksums there, and then they're just giving you a little bit of information. If you do like the Mate desktop, you can download the Mate desktop version. The other one, the main one, comes with their own desktop environment, which is called budgie, I think. I'm not sure exactly if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so if anybody's out there that knows, feel free to correct. But budgie seems to be, I couldn't find a whole ton of information, but it does seem to be based on Gnome. It's not Gnome, but it does have a lot of similarities to it. For example, a dissimilarity. The big one for me is what you might refer to as the task manager is an actual independent platform. So you can see that everything here is working independently of each other. And that is, if you know, if you've seen some of my videos on Gnome, that's one of the things I think it seems a little sloppy that the what you might call the system tray is all just one thing. It seems clunky to me, but this is actually quite a bit different. Of course, the notifications bar is certainly in a different location than Gnome is, which is cool. I like this interface. It kind of gives you kind of like a Mac or a Windows 10 type feel for your notifications, versus Gnome has them actually attached to the time, which is in the middle. And then, of course, another similarity or a difference is you shoot up to the corner. We don't have the hot corner giving you the various screen windows there. But the Windows key does pull down the menu, which is very much like the Gnome menu. And you can see this. Now, the part where I say, yeah, this definitely seems a lot like GNOME and probably based thereon, is that, you know, if you right-click the desktop, you can pretty much do nothing on this. And that's kind of a reminiscent of the newer Gnomes. You can change the background image. And this is usually how I change the background image. So if you're used to GNOME, you'll see that this looks pretty much identical. We have the option to choose the lock screen or the background image. They did give us not a whole boatload of different images, but enough really nice high quality images that you could certainly use a lot of their images pretty well, and then they're pretty cool. This one here is the default image that it loads with. And so here we'll go ahead and pick one and run one that says Solus there. Now, again, another thing that seems like it's GNOME is going back here. And if you see the panel here, everything is pretty much exactly the same at this point. So here's your online accounts, and then, you know, your search, all of your display information. Pretty much everything in here is just like the GNOME desktop. We do have the minimize and the maximize out of the box, which is good. We have the all of the bar here is at the top, which is a nice place, nice feature. And then we can add and adjust. You know, one thing I did not do, let me right click. I want to see if I can, okay, so I can pin things. So just like the, kind of like the Windows approach, if you open up an application, you can pin it to the bar here by right-clicking and hit pin to panel. So then if I close it, it'll stay pinned to the panel, and then I should then be able to right-click and unpin something from a panel. As far as the system resources, this guy here, you'll see it is taking... right now it's taking about 1.1 gig. That's probably because I'm running OBS and recording HD video at the same time. But I did some system tests here, and it runs about 700-800 megabytes. So it's not super system resource heavy, but it's not super light either. So this would run on any decent modern computer. You can see here it is running pretty smoothly. Of course, this thing here is a beastly computer. There you go. Some of the things I did not like about it. The software center here, it is a fast software center, that's good. But I found that it wasn't quite as easy to install software as I was hoping. So if I come over here into Office software, there was no place where I could just install all of LibreOffice. In fact, I installed this base LibreOffice and it doesn't do anything. So let's see if I can do a search for it. Okay, so if I do like a search here, it'll pull up, let's see, everything there. So what I did here is I installed this guy here, assuming that this would install the LibreOffice suite, and it doesn't. So if I load this up, it will load, let's see, maybe it does. Now you'll see here that it will not load any of these up. The only one it should load anything up in is the writer document, because I have installed that. So you actually have to install all of the various components individually from each other. And so I got to find the Libre sheet. So this is kind of the problem. If I need to install all of the LibreOffice suite, I have to hunt for them. And I'm not even seeing it. And it should be in here somewhere. Let me go back to home. Let's go Office. Let's go here. So there's that one. I'm not seeing the rest of it. Okay, there's Draw. There's Impress. Writer Help. Impress Help. we do have to install each of these guys independently of each other, and that's kind of another thing I found a little difficult here, is just having to install everything separately. Okay, that says that's installed. There's the calc. So now I have to install this one separately. All right, so you'll see it is downloading and installing things pretty quickly. Here's the databasing program. So you can install all these, but it is a little clunky. And that even when I came down here and installed the LibreOffice Common, the LibreOffice core there, as it were, I still had to install each of the individual components individually. As I did say, one of the cool things I liked about it is this is the only time I've ever actually seen OBS in a software center. It might have been in other applications as well, but I always remember installing OBS from just adding the PPAs and installing it there. Or maybe I've always done that just to make sure I have the more recent versions. So you will notice that the software is a little light. That is one of the things that some people will say is the software is a little bit light. And again, that is a lot of it's because they have taken out a lot of that junk software that doesn't work or doesn't work well. So when you do see something in the Software Center in Solus, it's going to work very well. As for me, this is probably not a platform that I would probably install and use on a regular basis, mostly because I like working off the desktop so much, and I can't seem to do anything on the desktop. Even when I want to access the files, I have to hunt for it. So there's your files. Maybe what I'll do is I will lock this to the panel. And let's see, I don't know. I didn't... One thing I did not try to do is move anything. Can I right-click? I can't right-click and create something new. So let's go over here. We're going to go into Office. We're going to open up the LibreOffice Writer. We're going to save a new document. I'm going to see if I can at least put something on the desktop, even if it's not easy. So test. Document, there we go. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to save as, and I'm going to save it in the templates just to see if it will allow me to use that anywhere. Right click, new document. Okay, so now now that I've added something to the templates folder, I can now right click and create a new document based on that. Let me see what happens if I try and drag something. So I can't even drag anything to the desktop. So for me, this desktop is not a system that I would like to work off of, just because I like working off of the desktop. I keep my active projects right on the desktop. Just makes it a lot easier to boot right into the computer and work with it. Also, it does resemble Gnome so much. I'm not a huge Gnome fan, not because it's not good, just because it's not a platform that I seem to work well with. As far as other items, we do have a terminal. Oh, there's an editor here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'll be careful. Whatever. Let's see if I can actually put desktop icons on here. If I can remember how to do that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't remember how to do that. I can't remember how to add desktop icons in the DEF CON editor. I can't remember. I always have to look that up. Yeah. Anyway, well, we do have a DEF CON editor. I'm not going to keep playing with that. I just can't find what I was looking for, and I'm not sure I can put icons on this anyway. Other system tools, though, it does have GPart. It does have Archives Manager, System Monitor, Disks, disk usage analyze, various document viewers. So I'd say out of the box that this is probably a decent system for as far as viewing documents. What I did not do, I usually do that I did not do, is I did not run a media test. Let me just go to YouTube right now. Let's see if I go to YouTube, what's going to happen. Let me do this. That awesome channel right there. I need to redo that channel introduction. It is way old and out of date. All right, let's just load up my recent video there. And I'm going to throw my headphones here because there's no computers on this. Okay, so it is working just fine. So what I did not do is test other media yet. but that seems to work just fine. And I'm going to guess, let's see. I think in the installer I had the option to choose if I wanted to install the third-party codecs. So I'm going to guess that media is going to work out of the box on this platform. I totally forgot to check that. Let's see. You know what? Here's a fun thing. Let's see how easy it is to access a network. Will it access a network? I don't know. It won't access that network. Let's try this. Ooh, missed a dot there. Dirt. Let me see if I'm on the internet. Well, duh, I'm on the internet. I know that. So it's not actually. Let me just go. No, not trash. Let me just do other locations. Let me try this again. Hey, there it goes. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can't see my typing in my password there, although that's pretty locked down. Let's see. I usually grab, let's see, it's under classical. I usually grab something that won't matter if I play it or not. So, Beethoven, you know what? Let's do Jupiter. I always like Jupiter. Oh, of course I can't put it there. Let me put it into the music folder. Is that going to work? All right, let's click on this guy, see what happens. Okay, so it's actually playing. You can't hear that, but there you go. All right, so it is actually playing the music, and it does close out there. Let me play that again and see if. Okay, so under the notification systems here, you'll see that I have my input and my output. I have my rhythm box over here, so I can control this and go forward and go back should I had more items in there, but I don't. So it's actually a very, very nice notification panel over here with a lot of access and control. So that's really cool. So who might this be for? Well, I would say anybody that wants a light system that... this might be a really good media type computer. Media seems to work right out of the box. Any application and program in here seems to work. So it has Thunderbird as default mail. Firefox is your default application. I did install all of LibreOffice, and the only other thing I think I installed is OBS. Default media players are VLC for video, Rhythmbox for music. We have print settings over here, and then various system settings. And then here's your system tools and various utilities. Of course, your settings panel, as I said, looks a whole lot like Gnome. It looks like there's a lot of artifaces from Gnome in here, a lot of carryover, but it also does seem that they've taken some changes to that. And that's a pretty cool platform. So overall, those are some pros and cons here of Solus. Overall, I think it's a pretty good system, pretty good platform. And as far as that is concerned, definitely worth keeping an eye on. And it'll be really nice to keep an eye on this platform as it develops and as it matures, as more software gets in place. Oh, also, let's go back to the main site there again. And let me go back under the... Let's see if I can remember where that help document was. But there's some very nice help documents, particularly if you needed help with the terminal, like app's not in there, Pac-Man's not in there. So a lot of different applications you might be used to are not in there. And somewhere in their site is, I can't remember exactly where it was, but somewhere in their site is a very nice user's guide. So let's see. Installation guide, forums, community, XChat. see the installation guide. Okay, so here's installation guides. It might be on this wiki somewhere. I remember it being somewhere else, but somewhere on their site, and you probably see it, and I'm just missing it because I'm recording a video and forgot to look for it. But somewhere on here is a lot of information about how to use the platform. And so that was actually a lot of helpful information as I was installing it, playing with it. I have not had to access or do anything in the terminal, but I did actually find all of the terminal instructions. It is a different way of installing things. There's a different installer that you use to the terminal, but there are some help documents on here somewhere to help you with that. So all that being said, this is Solus. You can check them out at the solusproject.com, and I will have a link to that in the description. So that is for that, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.